For day 9 of my Japanese adventure, it was time to take a little trip on a little rocket ship. Well, not really a rocket ship. These are the Japanese bullet trains, otherwise known as the Shinkansens. And let me tell you, folks, these things go fast. They go very, very fast. My phone has the speedometer built into it, and at one point we were going about 190 miles per hour, which is pretty darn fast. Now, you know me, any chance I get, I'm going to stuff some local cuisine into my face, and this trip was absolutely no exception. I got myself a caramel sandwich and a banana and chocolate crepe, I guess it is. I don't know. But let me tell you something. The caramel sandwich was delicious. I don't know what the Japanese do with their bread here and why it is so different and so soft and so fluffy, but I loved it. The crepe, not so much. Normally, I would think that banana and chocolate would go together, but this time it was just too smushy and too soggy, just not to my liking. I was heading north, a distance of almost half the country's length, and this train got me there in just a couple of hours. The ride was smooth, the ride was comfortable, the attending staff were fantastic, and if you ever get a chance to see Japan, you should get yourself a JR Railway Pass. They're especially handy if you're like me and you get off at the wrong stop. You can just turn back around, get back on the next train, and go to where you were supposed to go in the first place. Yeah, I need help. Thankfully, though, despite myself, I made it to my destination, Shiroishi, and it was time to get myself on a bus. Now, one thing I was not prepared for was how beautiful rural Japan is. I don't know, I just never considered the green and the valleys and the mountains. And if you don't get yourself out of the major cities at least once during your travels there, you're not doing yourself any favors. Look at this, it's absolutely beautiful. Plus, there's all kinds of wildlife that you're just not expecting. I knew monkeys were running around Japan somewhere, but I had no idea just how prevalent they were. One mama monkey jumped out in front of the bus carrying a baby, and I was so shook I couldn't even get a picture of it. I just remember screaming, "Oh my gosh, is that a monkey?" And somebody said, "Yeah, that's a monkey." And then I felt very self-conscious, because I should have known it was a monkey.
This is the Zao Fox Village.
If you've seen YouTube or any kind of social media in the last few years, you've probably seen videos of influencers coming to the Zao Fox Village. It is a self-described fox sanctuary, and it's home to hundreds of hippopotamuses. Oh, I'm sorry, I had the wrong notes. It's home to hundreds of foxes. While there are a few cages to protect some of the foxes that are undergoing medical care or quarantine, most of the foxes roam freely among the guests. They are quite used to people and will come right up to you, but keep in mind there are some very strict safety rules that you have to obey if you're going to visit the Fox Village. I also want to point out that I came at a time that the foxes were shedding their winter coats, and so they look a little rougher than what they normally would. As far as I could tell, the foxes seemed very healthy and were very stress-free. They snuck around playing with each other, making their adorable fox calls, and sneaking little sniffs of everyone's shoes. I don't know what it was about shoes, but they seemed very interested in our shoes. I am not going to be a hypocrite and say that I have not heard about the charges that have been leveled at this place, but from what I saw, I did not see any mistreated animals. I didn't see any unsanitary conditions. I didn't see anything that would make me think that these foxes were anything but happy. I've seen some online reviews talking about a strong smell of ammonia, to which I say, well, of course there's going to be a strong smell of ammonia. There's hundreds of foxes here. I've also seen some people talk about how the foxes crowd around the feeding area. Well, of course they're going to crowd around the feeding area. They know that's where they get fed. I'm not going to play expert here and say that I know everything about the way that the foxes here are treated. But again, from what I did see from my one visit, the foxes seemed really happy. They seemed like they were well fed, they seemed like they were stress-free, and they looked like they were enjoying playing with each other. Just know before you go that there have been some serious ethical concerns that have been raised against this place. Concerns that I didn't know about until I got home. Ultimately, it's going to be your decision whether or not you wish to support this place. So go home, do some research, follow your own heart, and decide what you want to do. And so one fox bid adieu to the other foxes at the Zao Fox Village, got on a bus, and then made my way back to the train. It was time to head to Tokyo because it was time to pack. I was leaving the big city and I was heading somewhere else. But where? You'll have to tune in next time for day 10 of my Japanese adventure. Oh, but first...
Greetings. I'm still in Japan and I have discovered something. Pringles! It's in Japanese. This is curry Pringles. Pringles with curry flavor. Look at that smirk. I had some curry today for dinner. I really enjoyed it, and I don't eat curry a whole lot. So I think I'm gonna like curry Pringles. Let's find out. Ooh, I smell star of anise. The Pringles are tinier in Asia. Time to taste test. That's not nearly as good as I thought it would be. It is repellent. As a kid, my family had to pinch pennies, and so as a result, we had to eat the bargain basement beef stew over and over and over again. And these chips, this is like all of that trauma coming back at once. You taste like poor people's stew.
No toilet in the parking. An attendant of one adult is a principal for child alone. Human being enters the cage of the fox. All is a self-responsibility. Club woman.